Okay guys, so now as a white, what will you play in this position? And if you find the move knight to d5, then congrats, you are a genius. I think most of you can see here black cannot capture this knight due to the threat of a discover check by the rook. And after white recaptures with the e pawn, black has to lose his queen. So obviously black is not going to do that. So what if he decides to play knight to e7? So basically closing the e file, and if this happens in this position, white can first of all exchange the knights with knight takes e7, and after bishop takes e7, now comes queen to g4, attacking this g7 pawn, and obviously black black cannot castle due to the threat of bishop to h6, and obviously as you can see, bishop to f6 is not going to work because of in the next move white is going to push e5, and then you can see black has to lose his rook. And let's see after queen to g4. So let me go back. Okay, so what if black plays g6, and if this happens, now comes bishop to h6, and then you can see now this bishop just infiltrates into the black's position. Okay, so in the game, after queen takes c6, okay, so let me go back. Yep, so here Tal goes for a4. Basically, he doesn't go for the move knight to d5 directly, and there is a reason behind it. The reason is that Tal wants black to advance his pawn to b4, which black does, and now Tal goes for knight to d5 because he wants to empty this b5 square so that he can place his bishop on b5 in future. And also just look at the pawn on b4. I mean, it just looks isolated. Okay, so here black develops his knight to f6, asking for a knight exchange, but guys, here Tal plays another shocking move. Don't pause the video, I don't think you can guess the move. And guys, in this position he plays bishop to d2. He focuses on development rather than defending the knight because he knows that here black cannot capture this knight with the pawn due to the threat of the discover check by the rook, which I mentioned. So that's why now black is forced to capture this knight with knight takes d5, and now comes e takes d5, and since this queen is targeted, so let's say if this queen goes to d6, now comes d takes e6, d takes e6, queen to g4, and you can see what's coming next. So let's say if black decides to just castle, and in this position now here white can go for bishop to f4, but there is an even better move, which is bishop to g5, attacking the rook and forcing black to push f6, because now in this position just rook takes e6, and clearly you can see white is winning. So that's why after calculating this stuff in the actual game, after this move, here black goes for queen to c5. His idea is to just capture the d5 pawn, but Tal defends it with bishop to e4. And guys, in this position here black plays a clever move, f5. But why? I mean, in this position white can just capture the pawn on f5, and guys, if this happens, now black is going to castle queenside and defends his king from the white attack. So that's why after the move f5, here Tal brings his bishop to f3, keeping the pressure on this diagonal. And now let's say if black decides to castle queenside, now that will be a mistake, because first of all white is going to play c3, trying to open the c file so that he can place his rook on c1. I mean, let's say if bishop takes d5, c takes d4, b4, and you can see now what's coming next. And if black, let's say, continues with bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, and if black tries to exchange the queen by queen to d5, no need to exchange the queen, just queen to e2, and in the next move white can continue to push his pawn, and then rook to c1 is coming, and you can see black will be in big trouble. So that's why after bishop to f3, okay, so let me go back. Here black goes, so after this move Here black decides to grab the pawn with bishop takes d5. But can you guess the next move played by Tal? No, don't pause the video because you can't. And I am saying this because in this position, Mikhail Tal plays bishop takes b4. He sacrificed the bishop, and the idea is if queen takes b4, just queen takes d5, taking benefit of the pin. So that's why after bishop takes b4, here black goes for bishop takes f3. He first of all targets the queen, and after queen takes f3, and as you can see, this rook is attacked as well as this queen. So that's why, black just brings his queen back on c8. Okay, so now Tal brings his bishop back to c3 because previously is what it is targeted by the bishop, and also it blocks this c file because previously this queen was targeting the pawn on c2. Okay, so now king to f7, and guys, here Tal plays rook at a goes to d1, and the idea is to sack the rook on d7 so that he can deflect the queen and grab the black's rook. So that's why here black brings his bishop to e7, connecting the rooks. But now Tal launches an attack from the king side with g4. His idea is to open up the position much as possible. So after seeing that, here black plays rook to f8, creating an escaping square for the king. Okay, so g takes f5, and then king goes back to g8, and after that queen to g2, threatening mate on g7. So to defend this, and guys, in this position, the final move by Tal is queen takes a6, and here Aivars Gipslis resigned. This is because, let's say if this game continues like e takes f5, and now white can consider this amazing move, queen to e6 check, forcing the queen exchange. And after queen gets exchanged, now just tell me, who is going to stop these queenside pawns? No one. What an amazing top level endgame by Tal. I mean, I'm just tired of praising him. Absolutely brilliant. Like this video, and I will see you in the next one. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.